performing Hajj, you know, you owe a lot to yourself and
yeah,
to Allah,
yeah,
you know, in the way you behave. And so, can you dilate on that? Because
yeah.
this year, you know, a lot of young people, you know, undertook this
And young
journey to Makkah.
persons,
Yeah.
yes, yes, yes. Yes, I think it is very important. You know, before people have the belief that only the kebas,
All
the old people, should be seen seriously committed to the teachings and devoted to the teachings of Islam. And the young ones, they have time to play around. It is not a time for them to,
go
like say, to return to God or to repent. And, they can still, you know, they have plenty of time.
enjoy.
But that was a completely wrong understanding and misleading understanding. The fact of the matter is this, that whether you are old or you are young, rich or poor, anybody can die anytime. People are born and instantly they die at the same time. Some people live for 10 years, 10, 15, 20, 50, some 100 years, some 80 years. People can die anytime. And there's a level, there's a stage that if somebody dies, the person will be held to a lot of questions in the hereafter. So that is why if you have, and one part of the interpretation which is correct is that after coming from Hajj, just like Ramadan, to confirm that yes, your Hajj has been accepted. Yes, you have been able to achieve what Prophet Muhammad promised of Hajj Mabrur. Is how do you know that is how you behave yourself from now on? Because there's no point, you know, going to sink yourself back again in the sea of sins after having all the clear, you know, clear, wash yourself of that sins. So what is expected of any pilgrim who goes back on is to make sure that from life will never be the same again. Like this is an experience, like I said, this is an opportunity, this is a blessing which is a very great one. No blessing can be greater than that of going to Hajj. And therefore, when you come back from Hajj, your life must change for good, and you must be a different person for the rest of your life. Yes, naturally, the human being cannot be immune from doing some violations here and there.
Sorry.
But to a very large extent, one must be able to control himself and to control the person to make sure that what we call the kabair, the major sins, at least the major sins are avoided.
Okay.
And keep on praying and make sure that that close proximity between you, Al-Haji, and God, that close proximity, you maintain it. Keep on praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, keeping yourself closer to God throughout. And in the meantime, who knows, opportunity can come
Okay.
also to go back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now you've talked a little on the traditional bunya
Yeah.
that people do when they are kids or kin come from kith and kin come from
Yeah.
Mecca from Hajj, you know, occasionally. Still now it's going on.
Yeah.
What is your take on that?
To me, it's just you've described it in the right way. Tradition. It's just a tradition. It is not necessarily religion or deen. It's part of our culture. Whether it is Hajj or it's non-Hajj. When you travel, you come back, people come to greet you, and some bunyas are exchanged within the family. But it must be kept within the level and the limit of tradition. And the essence of it is only for people to show their happiness over the fact that somebody who traveled is back now with us,
Safe.
safe. When he was going, people convert and prayed for him. He is back now. People are back to say hello to him. And then they do some bunya, they pray each other. And like I'm saying, because particularly in the Hajj now, because the Al-Hajj is, you know, presumed to be as clean as he was when he was born. So it will be good also that something is done for him and he prays for others. But like I'm saying, it must be kept within a very, very, very reasonable limit and level. There is no need for them to incur loans or liabilities or to go and do anything which is haram again and will eventually spoil the whole process.
Okay.
So let the bunya be kept within a reasonable limit.
Okay.
There is nothing wrong. Wallahu alam.
Okay, doctor. I think shortly before we go for our first break, I'll give you this question. You were talking on how to behave after performing this important rite of Islam.
Yeah.
Now, there's a trend, you know, which has been set by some people, and it's a very unfortunate trend. And I think it is very important that you speak on that. Most people, when they go to Saudi is a place where we converge for a purpose.
Yeah.
Now, some people have their own problems, right? When you get there, without the usual support you get from the family, sometimes to some extent, some of your secrecy could be exposed. Now, some people will use that as a talking point. When they come here, their preoccupation will be, you know, chatting with people about people's privacy, people's problems,
While they were in
people's
Mecca.
people's shortfalls in Mecca. You know, we understand, for example, that women at some point don't pray, right?
Yeah.
And if that happens, some of them, you know, keep themselves in the house whilst others go to pray.
Yeah.
Now, you seeing that, you don't know why, or because of any reason, they will just come and start saying, here, when we went, you know, Madam X or Y wasn't praying. I never saw her praying, you know. And that will force some people to even pray, join the queue and pray
when they are not supposed to.
when they are supposed to pray, just because of the fear
that stigma, yes.
of the stigma.
Yes.
So can you elaborate on that?
Yes, I think you're right. That is another important point to take.
Now that we're back,
to take note of. You see, the time that you spend talking about others, why don't you spend that time in a very gainful, in any gainful activity? Because when I talk about you, mostly it's backbiting. And a backbiting is strictly prohibited by Islam. It's riba, or is one of the major sins, in fact. Well, like what you call kaba'ir. Backbiting is a major sin.
Big one.
It's a very, very major sin. And what is backbiting is you're saying something to somebody in his absence. And if he was present, you can never say it because you'll be aware of his reaction or whatever. So before you spend your time on something that can only, you know, bring you sins, why don't you divert the topic of discussions on something that can gain you some rewards? What is your own experience, like what we are doing? Tell people your own experience in Makkah. What are the lessons that you have learned in Makkah? How do you find Makkah or Al-Madinah? What special feeling that you have when you were in Al-Madinah or in Makkah? And how are you feeling now after coming back from Makkah? And what is your resolution after coming back from Makkah? These are the, you know, important issues that we should be talking about, rather than, you know, talking about people's privacy, particularly for some things that you don't know the reasons.
No, exactly.
You know, backbiting is a very, very serious process because one, you know, it could be a lie, and that makes it double criminality. It makes it double sins. One, the person is lying, and second, he is or she is backbiting or you know, saying something against another person, which Islam never allows. So my advice is that let's forget about the way that so and so behaved in Mecca, what they were doing, where they were. Let's come back and, you know, take stock of our own selves. What is our what our experience was when we were there? How do we find Mecca? What is our resolution? Now, what is next? Where do I see, like somebody said, somebody has the problem of praying on time. Although he always pray regularly, but not necessarily punctually. Sometimes when Zuhr Azan is made, it takes him like 2 o'clock. He will not pray Zuhr up to around 4 o'clock. Or he will not pray Asr on time, or he will not pray Maghrib on time. He has this problem. Now, when he was in the Makkah, he realized that any time prayers are called, wherever there are people are, whatever they are doing, they'll stop. Sellers will stop selling. Shops will be closed instantly, whether it is Makkah in Medina. Everybody will stop everything and they go to pray and they come back. Even Tawaf. When they were making Tawaf, and the prayer is called, they stop the Tawaf and pray. And now he said, then that means that my habit of not praying on time should be changed. My going to Makkah must contribute to change of this bad habit. And the person has resolved to change this habit, and I'm sure he is going to change that habit. This is exactly the type of behavior that should be emulated. Because he has a resolution that before I went to Makkah, I was not necessarily praying regularly, which, you know, punctually. And this is not proper. And now that I have seen what I have seen in Makkah, I'm going to make sure that I start praying punctually and regularly. For him, like I'm saying, he has to be a changed person for good. You know, experience is for him can never be the same. So I would advise that we, you know, emulate this pattern of life.
There, viewers, actually, as you may understand, this is a program where you can call and ask questions pertaining to what we are discussing. Now, what we do right now is to just go for a short break. When we come back, inshallah, we'll open the lines for you to call and ask your questions or even contribute to the program. We'd like our viewers to please confine themselves to the subject of discussion, which is Hajj, before we move to the other topic, inshallah. Yeah, we take the break now.
علم بالقلم علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم كلا